What's up, YouTube? What's up, guys? Hey, guys and gals. Welcome to the Occult Raven. I'm Kendra. I wanted to just make a real quick video. Not too quick, but what I'm talking about here is really simplistic in nature and doesn't take a whole lot of explanation. And I find that when people talk about simple things under the occult umbrella, they pick at it and pick at it and really just throw too many curveballs, and at the end, you're just kind of like, the fuck are you even talking about, right? So I'm gonna just dive right in. I'm going to talk, and this is actually going to be video one of several, because I plan on doing 2 more videos right after this one back to back. So you will see me on the same couch in the same clothes, right? But I'm just going to dive right into this. Actually, let me get. I have my notes. Yeah, I have my notes. So I don't run off at the mouth because I can, but I won't. Okay? So I am talking about the hidden self, right? And I'm also going to touch on the ego. You got a big ego. Yeah, I'm going to touch on the ego. So, when you think about occult teachings and occult knowledge, you always hear this thing of know thyself, your hidden self, your true self. What are people talking about, right? Especially when you are just getting into understanding what the whole umbrella of occult knowledge is, then you are sort of, at a loss. Is my hidden self something that can only be attained once I reach a particular stage in my self-development or my spiritual path, or however you choose to define it? Or, my hidden self, is that only accessed, when I die or something like that, right? So that's why I'm just going to quickly get into this. And then, like I said, I'm going to touch on the ego, because I have heard several rants about the ego, and I just want to just really quickly, shed some light on it and reel it on me and bring it home. But, what is the hidden self? What do people mean when they say know thyself, right? It is one and the same. And, you're really talking about tapping into the subconscious mind, that hidden part. And it is said to be hidden because it is something that you do not access on command. Like, it is very different from your conscious mind, right? Some people reference your hidden self, your subconscious mind, as the supreme being, which the supreme being, the Sunam Bunam. That's one thing that I've read, and some people look at it as your spirit. It is not your spirit, and I can make a video on that. Also, the ego, the spirit, and the soul, and define those. But I think that people associate, your subconscious mind with your spirit, because in times of antiquity, people would look at and call the subconscious mind the light bringer, okay? And you associate, the spirit illuminated with, the light, but it is a different thing. So, your hidden self, the makeup of your subconscious mind is I like to define it as the the highest creative faculty um, of your very existence. Sorry, my throat. I have some tea though. I got my tea though. Crisis averted. Um, so yeah, it is really, you know, where all things are created is in your subconscious mind. Um, and that's also why I wanted to touch on, the ego, because the ego is largely associated with your conscious mind, right? Your awakened state. Your subconscious mind is closely associated with that sleeping part of you. And, you know, this whole notion of kill the ego and death to the ego is, first of all, I'm going to get at this thing. So, first of all, to say, death to the ego, or the fact that you want to kill your ego, is egotistical in theory, first of all, okay? Because you were, as we all were, um, brought into existence with an ego attached, right? Because your ego lends itself to fight or flight. That's, your ego reigns over daily activities, right? It keeps you in check in a lot of ways, right? And in that practical sense, and it also, and it really, that's on a, you know what I'm saying, on a mundane level. The ego makes you, not go to the grocery store naked, right? So we have it on that very mundane level. But then you have to also understand how the ego um, plays a part in the divine part of who you are, right? Because it does. Um, and I mean that in your ego will never be sufficed. You will all, this is, the ego is what keeps us searching. Because let's make it very clear, your hidden self, your divine self, your subconscious mind does not search for anything, okay, at all. It is perfect in existence, right? Um, you know, that just is. Um, it is the creator, okay? That subconscious mind, it is the creator. Um, that, that ego, um, that awakened state, always yearns for something, always wants something. So how can that be defined, or how can that be a divine state of existence? Well, the ego does not discriminate on what will suffice it for that time, okay? And for many, many people who get into occult teachings and start to develop yourself and know yourself, um, it is due to the ego, because your ego feels like you are lacking something, right? And the ego will go after, whatever it sets its sights on. The ego will go after, your appearance. But in the same breath, your ego will also has the ability, and will go after the the very thing that will illuminate your mind, okay? The knowledge, information that will take you to a heightened state of existence. So, to kill the ego is almost like, well, I don't think you want to do that, okay? Because that's when the search ends, Okay, that's when the search is complete. And if you say, you know, well, my search can be complete, you know, I'm good, then what the fuck you doing on the earth? Okay, check. Then if, you know what I'm saying, if there is nothing more to be had, what else you doing? Why do you have a roof over your head? Okay, why are you wearing clothes? Why do you go get your hair cut? Why do you wear a tie to work? Why are you in search for, you know what I'm saying? Come on now. Let's be for real about this. Okay? Now when you talk about how big someone's ego is, you know, you can go after that. Of course. No one wants to be around someone with a big, or some people do like to be around people with big egos. It depends on the individual. But people who are truly um, in the occult world and apply occult knowledge to their daily lives could give a fuck less about an ego. Okay, it won't hold me back. Okay, you got to learn how to keep it in check. You know, you're trying to kill the ego out of what? Fear. Okay, so when you are truly into the development of self and knowing thyself, and that anything that falls under, you know, occult knowledge, you know, you learn that fuck out of here with the fear part, okay, and fear of anything, including the ego, right? Just keep it in check. All right, if you're the type of person where you feel like your ego will get out of hand, then you have some work to do. Um, Period, point blank. You know, the whole death to the ego is is just silly in a notion, you know, and you can't get rid of it even if you wanted to. So, moving on. That's my take on it. So, you know, yeah, the hidden self is actually the mind's power and all that it can conjure up. And, you know, your hidden self really and truly wants all in the world that is good for you. Okay? Um, so, again, I have notes, so let me look at my notes because I don't want to get on. You know, of course, you can get into, you know, how the subconscious mind works, in a sense, the steps of how the subconscious mind, you know, plays a part in your physical world. And when we talk about that, we are, you know, really getting into a manifestation, right? So I can definitely make a video about that. But just for this video, I'm going to strictly stick to your hidden self. So, you know, can you access your hidden self? Well, you access your hidden self every moment of the day, right? Because you are planting seeds in that subconscious mind every moment, every time you see a face, smell a smell, hear a sound. The subconscious mind is the book hall, is the library of you know, your very existence. It holds everything there. You know, it's the memory bank, and this comes out of what is the book? Holographic Universe. I believe it's called Holographic Universe, and it is by Michael Talbot. Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot. In there, in this book, you know, it's really a must read. I enjoyed the book, and it gives information on the practical workings of the subconscious mind, and how I believe it was like in the 50s or the 60s, doctors would try to find the memory bank in these people's brains. They say they were willing participants, and they went through these medical studies. Now, the doctors did these medical studies on humans and animals, but they did it on animals first, and they found that when they dissected mice, because they always do these things on mice, um, um, and they found that when they dissected the brain of a mouse and went to the part that they thought held memories and took it out, that the mouse was then still able to go through the maze and remember its way out, or remember where it stored a piece of food, right? So they were kind of baffled by this, because they felt like, these doctors felt like, well, we took this piece of memory, out of where we feel like memories are housed. So how does this mouse still know how to find this thing, right? So they then took the study to humans, and again, were amazed by the fact that they would literally open up the skull of someone, do brain surgery, and take out specific parts of the brain where they felt like memories were housed, and the consensus was the same, right? People remembered, their names, the family, where they lived, what they were there for in the first place, is that they were a willing participant in this. And doctors, they were baffled by this, because they felt like there has to be a central location for, this library of memories. Which, what are memories? It's a thought, anything that you have ever done in this lifetime, right? And lifetimes before, and I could make a video on that, but it is all housed in that subconscious mind. And from this study, they found, that it could not be. Memories are not filed in one place in your subconscious mind. They are in numerous places, and it depends on the actual memory as to where it is housed. Not only that, but in memories are actually dissected. So you can have a piece of memory over here, and another piece of that same memory over here, right? So essentially, I'm not pointing to the very specific places, but I'm just saying that, until these studies were done, there was a consensus around the medical community that, there was one specific place where memories were housed, and those studies since proved it wrong. It's not, and not only that, memories can be dissected and placed, the same memory dissected and placed into different parts of the subconscious mind. And you have to kind of think about, well, why would that happen, right? Because you think about a memory and what a memory is, and what is a memory? It is, what does it encompass? A visual aspect of a memory, a color, then you think about, what else can a memory, encompass? Smell, right? You remember how something feels. You remember how something tastes, okay? So, there's no wonder that, the mind dissects, the same memory and houses it in different places in the mind. So, the subconscious mind is a wonderful, creative, chaotic, obviously chaotic, faculty of of who we all are. And it's important to know that you can access willingly this this dark realm of the mind, and that access primarily come. Now you can access it in deep meditation, which is for people who are just getting into understanding occult knowledge, can be very difficult. I read something that says people, again, another study that was done. I'm not sure where I read this, but I don't even think it's in I think it was just like an online article where it talked about how long people will go at something that they have never done before they quit, and they pinpointed meditation, and I think it was something like 12 seconds, or it may have been less than that. I have to find that article. If I find that article, I'll copy the link and post it below. But it was just so crazy, that people will go at, like if you, and they talked about different things, how long someone will try to shoot a basketball and make it into a hoop, or how long people will try to catch a ball, or how long people will try to solve a math problem before they, ask for help. But they, the study had a very long section pertaining to how long people who have never meditated before will try to meditate and be within themselves and just sit and try to accomplish a real meditative state, and it was seconds, okay? And, you really have to sort of think about, the fact that your subconscious mind, which is largely accessed when you go to sleep, when you fall asleep, it's sleep time, that conscious mind shuts down, that subconscious mind takes over, right? But you have to be very skilled. Again, you have to be skilled in being able to manipulate your subconscious mind while you're in the dream state. So, the other way to do that is, and access your subconscious mind, is through extreme meditation, an extreme meditative state. Right now, you talk about the state of mind. Right now, I'm in beta, right? I believe that's what it is. The first state is, beta state is up, active, talking, and then you slowly get into, it's like gamma. I'm probably not saying them in the right way, but going into alpha state, slipping into alpha state is when you can, people say it's the daydream state, right? You can really get into and go into meditative state. And people, the masses at large, take no time and give up very quickly when trying to access that dark part of yourself. And why do you give up so easily? Why would the masses give up so quickly in trying to access the very faculty that will bring forth all in the world that is good for you? Okay, because that's what the subconscious mind will do. You plant a seed there, it will manifest. Okay, it will manifest, and I'll make another video about that. We can talk about manifestations. How do manifestations come about? Only when you plant that seed in the Creator's garden. Okay, because the subconscious mind is the creator, right? The conscious mind don't create shit, right? When you hear people say, oh, I have an issue, I have a problem they're mulling over, I'll sleep on it. That's for a reason. Because when you sleep on something, when your subconscious mind, that highest creative faculty takes over, then you can, and a lot of people don't know this is what is going on. They think they have thought out the solution to this problem, but it is really, that divine mind that has taken over and has solved the problem. And it is giving you, that download, and usually while you're sleeping. So, I think that was so, important to get out and talk about, which is the hidden self. In theory, yes, it can be very simple, but when you're talking about digesting, exactly what is your hidden self, it can be a feat for some people. It can be difficult to actually digest, because when I say, you are digesting what your subconscious mind is and what the hidden self is. You know what I mean? You have to understand that if you're not accessing your subconscious mind, if you're not accessing that creative faculty, that chaos realm, if you're not accessing that, then you are not manifesting. Okay, you're not willingly manifesting, right? And that's what you want to do. Okay, you don't want some shit to come into your life that you say, what? How did that happen? Right? Because you were not an active participant, right, in it. You're just letting the thing take over. And it's yours to manipulate. In its perfect existence, it is still yours to manipulate. And yes, you can manipulate the subconscious mind, right? Again, manifestations. You sit down, you meditate, and you plant a seed to get a new car, right? No idea how you're going to get the new car. No idea how you're going to get the new car. But you can see yourself in that new car. You can smell that new car. You know what the interior looks like. You know what radio station you're listening to. Okay? So yes, that is manipulation of the subconscious mind, right? So, again, I think it is, simple in theory, but when you really go at it and digest it, then you make it a part of your daily life. And in your theta state, in your meditative state, and also in your dream world, in your dream state, you go after your subconscious mind and try to manipulate it and bring forth whatever it is that you want to manifest in your life. Again, I can make a video, and I will make a video on manifestation and how, because I also think it's really important to talk about how manifestation works in correlation with the subconscious mind, because while there are a plethora of, you can Google, how to manifest something, and it will be endless practices, okay? Chanting, meditating, magic, and everything that goes along with magic, candle magic, spells, you name it, which is all very real, because I do it all. But, I think it's important for people to understand how your subconscious mind works along with manifestation, because it can be twofold, right? And I don't mean in practice, I mean in theory of how you actually manifest something, because it can be, willed in. You can will in your perfect job. Your will is associated with extreme visualization. Okay? Practitioners say, sit in the quietness of the mind and, think about that perfect job. See yourself at that perfect job and do this daily for, a week, or do this for a month, and it is sure to manifest. And I am sure that it will. Okay. On the other hand, you have the magician, who, goes in, sets that intention, puts that intention out there, focuses for a little while in that meditative state, and leaves it alone and never thinks about it again. And that is surely to manifest when done right. How can these two polar opposites, how can these both in this in their own right manifest in the same way, right? Bring forth things that you want in your life. Okay, it depends on the person. I can definitely make a video about that, because I have not heard anyone. Yes, you can find a bajillion videos that talk about manifestation, but I have not heard anyone talk about, in theory, how you are manifesting. Are you willing something in, and keeping it in your one divine mind, or are you getting on that magical aspect, and giving it to the infinite divine mind, okay, to work out? And that's because that's what it is. Okay, you set that intention. Let's say you're doing candle magic. You light that candle with your intention. You do that ceremony or that ritual petition. You write it down. You and you give it away. You never think about it. Okay, that's a completely different practice than visualization and petition or write down what it is that you want to manifest daily, day after day. And these things both manifest. Okay, it depends on the person. It depends on the practitioner. It depends on where you are in your state of mind, right? Because when you talk about giving that intention over to the great divine mind, then that means you can access that great divine mind. You talk about your sixth sense now, right? Or as when you are willing something in, some people call it faith, blind faith. It's really your will, when you are willing something in, and that is attached to the ego. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, because they both manifest. Don't get me wrong. Your will is the persistence of the ego. Okay, I'm willing this in. I am getting this. Okay, that your ego is fueling that. So, you can do this daily and manifest. It does work. I've done it. It does work, right? And also on the other hand, I have done, you candle magic. You light your candle and you set your intention. You don't think about the shit again, and it manifests and it works, right? So it just depends on the person. It depends on where you are. The will works with your faculties, your five senses. Sight, right? You lighting that candle. You can do breathing meditation to bring things into existence, to manifest something through breathing practices, sound, chanting, hearing, okay? Particular foods that people say they eat, you know what I mean? Basil, rosemary, magical foods, right? These things that people digest or can digest that help them manifest into the physical world. It all works. It depends on who you are. So, yeah, I didn't mean for this video to be that long, but I will make another video talking about manifestation and specifically the practices that I do to manifest. I will not talk about something that I do not practice. Now, It could be something that I have learned, but I have implemented it. I have done it. It has worked for me, and I talk about it. Okay? That's how I get down. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. If you got any value out of this video, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you want to hear about. Give me some ideas. I have endless things to talk about, but I would like to hear what you guys want to hear about. So don't be shy. I'm not. Leave your comments below, and be blessed. Peace.